Walls Could Talk. I am your host, Wendy Stuart, and I know you're always used to seeing Tym Moss here with me, my co-host. I believe he's still in Florida, soaking up that Florida sunshine. He just got done doing 50 Shades of Gay down there with our amazing friend Rockabilly, and I think those boys are still laying in a lounge chair, putting on suntan lotion, and just living la vida loca. So I'm here today. Please feel sorry for me. It's so cold up here. You know what? I should be living in Florida. I'm not a cold weather person. I know a lot of other people aren't either. So let us all commiserate together today on If These Walls Could Talk. So it's been an unbelievable party season, as many of you know. We're all trying to attend as many live events as we can because nobody knows what's going to happen next. We now hear that there's 3 variants out there. I don't know. I'm just trying to live my best life. And to live my best life, I did a wonderful show with the Imperial Court of New York at Pieces Bar called The 12 Drags of Christmas. And I wrote this little Christmas parody. It's like a little collage of songs about COVID Christmas, right? Somebody's got to call it out and say it. We've been having Christmas in spite of all of this. So if you would like to see it, it's available on YouTube. You can go to Wendy Stuart TV and you can catch it there. And I'm going to guarantee to make you laugh. Today's guest. I'm so excited to have today's guest because from the first time I heard him and saw him, I'm like, he's got something really cool and really different going on and an incredible voice, but his music, his original music was just, I don't know, it just took me away. Found myself transfixed and focused on him. It must be the fact that his mother's from Costa Rica and his dad is a good old country boy. And that has totally affected his particular kind of music. He is welcomed wherever he goes. He's so well known in the music industry, has played in every major venue in New York, and is celebrating, of course, his new video that's out that we're going to listen today to the live performance. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to the one, the only Bobby Blue. Twirling. This is the limitations, ladies and gentlemen, of doing a live stream. I'm going to scoot over and make room for you. There you go.
Hello, Wendy.
So nice to have you here, first of all.
Thank you very much.
You look stunning.
Thank you very much.
I love that you're Bobby Blue. Yeah, please show everybody. Can they see the leggings and...
No, not really. It's like really hard to.
Yeah, because we have this like, okay, yeah, just do whatever you feel.
And pants.
There you go. Bring your leg closer to the camera. No, it's all good. It's all good because you know what? We're limited to like this little square, and your outfit really is fabulous. It's Bumblebee influenced.
It's sure. I
Right.
got a little corsage here, so yes,
yeah,
okay, we can say that.
It is, right?
Well, thank you very much.
And the
Yeah,
yellow and
colorful.
Black, it's colorful. And thank you,
Yes.
because that's very cheerful for all of us. It's
Well, in the
winter.
winter, everybody wears black and gray, and saying that and again, my mother is Costa Rican, so we're very colorful. She's a fashion icon, like my mom.
Your mom is a fashion icon.
Absolutely. But and she always dressed so extravagantly and so colorful and just so beautiful.
What a fabulous way to grow up. And I have to tell you, I've been to Costa Rica 6 times. It's one of my favorite places in the world to go to because the people are wonderful and warm and just creative and very genuine.
Where did you go?
So Manuel Antonio National Park.
Oh, the gay side.
Couple of, are you surprised that I went to the gay side? I don't think
no, I mean, Capos is right next to Manuel Antonio.
Yes.
Capos is kind of like the gay Williamsburg, or the gay Greenpoint to the Williamsburg, and Manuel Antonio is like the Williamsburg.
It is.
And yeah, but it's very touristy when you get to Manuel Antonio, of course, but Capos is a little bit more like a little bit homier and home of everybody that can't afford and works in Manuel Antonio.
Right. But Capos is a very cool place,
Yeah,
right? And I
yeah,
stayed
it's
at a
cute.
place. Don't you even want to know what made me go there?
People tell me all the time that they've had these extravagant things, and I know that's really big for tourism.
The reason
I kind of know a little bit.
If you know about me, I'm a wildlife person, right? I'm into wildlife. I read it in the Costa Rican Times. It's called the Tico Times, which you would know from your mom.
In English.
About a woman that was rescuing sloths in Costa Rica and putting radio collars on them. I know, I'm really out there. And I'm like, that is the coolest thing I ever heard.
Yeah.
And she had a hotel called Mono Azul, Blue Monkey, Mono Azul. Have you heard of it? The Blue Monkey.
I have a friend with a hotel on the Caribbean side called Banana Azul. The blue banana.
The blue
I was
banana.
just like, wait a minute.
It's like,
do we know the same gay
blue
person?
monkeys.
Yeah,
right. Blue bananas. It's all the
Well-
same. But I went there for Christmas, my very first time. Oh Holy Night was playing. We walk into this very quaint little dining room with rafters above, and hanging from the rafters were 3 slots while Oh Holy Night played, and there were like Christmas tree lights blinking. And I'm like, this is so damn cool.
I have so many things to say about what you just said. First of all, the one thing about Oh Holy Night is that it's one of the greatest songs. I love
I
it.
love that you said
I
that.
love the song, right? It's I don't know what I like. I don't really believe in the story, but the story is beautiful. Like if you listen to the lyrics, especially that second verse, it will bring you to tears.
Yeah.
But then, but the thing is it's more entertaining when you're at the Monster with a bunch of gay men around the piano, all trying to be Whitney Houston about
Yeah,
it.
right.
It is
Singing at
not
top of
the
their
place
lungs.
you really want to be, but then again, it's really the place you
That's-
want to be. It
As
is
as
just
opposed to watching one sloth knock the other one down from the beam onto the table where we were eating.
Oh,
It was really funny
really?
though. Yeah, it's forever etched in my brain.
And one of my in Manuel Antonio, I had an experience where I was just walking around, and I was walking toward this really this pizza place, and it was just kind of off the path. And you had to like walk down to it was like a little drive to the parking lot, but on the way you're in the middle of the jungle. And the thing is that there was these 2 guys, like as I was walking by, and they had bananas in their hands, and they were looking up, and I turned to what they were looking at, and there was just a million monkeys.
Oh yeah,
just
of course,
everywhere, and they're all the capuchins.
Right.
And the thing is that you really should know like about wildlife before you go and do.
But you didn't.
I didn't at the time
because you were looking at the
So
2 guys
they-
with bananas.
They gave me Raleigh, but those guys, they gave me a little banana. They said, "Here, try it." And one little monkey came down and grabbed it from my hands, and it was so adorable and sweet. But at the same time, like I learned later that my mom used to say that monkeys will make this certain face at you if they're about to attack.
Oh yeah, it's like, wait, I'm gonna do it. I know the face.
It's like a monkey smile.
Yeah,
it's like something.
It's like they grit though. They'll show a little teeth. There's those incisors,
and there were several of them. And I didn't think about it at the time, but after I walked away, I was like, they could have all attacked and killed like the 3 people that were standing there. But you know, it's really quite something.
Oh, they were
Costa Rica will touch
amazing.
you in a way that it is when you go to other countries. The one thing that I think that people are not really open to is that other cultures don't value what other cultures value.
That is
and
true.
So when you go to when people in Costa Rica, they don't really put money as the main value. Of course, they need the money and so forth, but it's more of a pura vida.
Pura vida. I swear I was going to say it. Pura vida. Everywhere you go, they say which is pure life.
Tranquilo. It's like, but it's just and I can't even explain what that is. It's like there's a value in that rides above almost everything else.
It's like viva the life, celebrate the life, being alive.
But it's like in Denmark, they try to market this thing called hygge.
What is that?
It's a room that's set up in a warm way, like it has a candle.
Oh, I love that.
It's
cozy.
Very cozy. But it's something that only Danish people will ever truly know how to do and understand. You can make the scene, but you're never going to do it the way Danish. And that is pura vida also.
I love
Costa Rica, you will never really get it unless you are immersed in it, just absolutely immersed in the culture.
Yeah. So you've obviously been immersed in it, and reading about you, your dad is a good old country boy. Yes. Mom's from Costa Rica. You grew up like around cornfields and stuff like that.
Well, yes, I grew up in a place much like the movie The Children of the Corn. But the only thing is we were Midwestern like they were. Who in the hell? And I love Stephen King, right?
Me
but
too.
Like, who the hell ever gave these Midwestern corn-fed boys an accent like that? Outlander, we have your woman. I mean, like
you didn't talk like that growing up.
No, I didn't. We were lucky if there was somebody who would pronounce that word fully and had a mouthful of teeth.
Okay, that's brilliant, right? Whoa, I got to take a moment to take.
Well, you got to think about that.
Right?
And then once I tell you that, the movie's ruined forever. I'm sorry.
Forever and ever. But here you are in this. It was Bedford.
Bedford, Indiana.
Now, you know,
right
Tim
next to
Moss,
Bloomington.
Tim Moss, my co-host, who couldn't be here today, sends his love. He's from the Midwest. Also, he's from Indiana as well. He's from, I can't remember it, but it's small, and we talk about corn a lot.
Oh,
So there was just like a lot of corn. Look at you. What the hell did you do in a place like that?
you know, that's what everybody would like. People would come up to me and say, like, one time I remember I was working at the mall. Well, okay, we had to, if we wanted to work at the mall, we had to go to Bloomington,
which
is where Indiana University is. We're
yeah,
right
and
next
I know
to
it from that.
and we're right next. And if you've ever seen the movie Breaking Away, that was filmed a lot in my neighborhood because I was very close to Bloomington. Right, I love that movie. It's such an amazing movie, 1977.
Oh my God, you have a good memory.
Yeah, it's got a great it's a great thing. But growing up in Indiana, like I was working at the mall one day at Merry-Go-Round. Do you remember Merry-Go-Round?
That was like a dress store.
It was like it was like the coolest funky store that a small town would ever see. Right. So I loved that place, and so like eventually ended up working there. And this woman walks in one day, and I was just like, wow, she is stunning. Like, what is a woman like that doing in Bloomington, Indiana? Like, you know, she was like polished in a way that like only like city money can polish you,
city money. I like that, Bobby Blue.
Oh, come on,
city money.
Because like
you can smell it.
Midwestern money does not polish you. Like, so I was just like, huh. I was like, but she was putting a lot of things in the dressing room, and I was helping her out, and she was just like, and I was telling her, she's like, I'm like, yeah, I'm a singer, and I'm just, you know, trying to do the best I can, you know, with like working here and being a singer and so forth. She's like, oh, well, and I said, she said, I'm dressing for a music video, and I'm like, oh, well, Bloomington's a big indie music town.
I didn't realize that.
Oh,
see,
yes.
I learned something.
There is a secretly Canadian record label is there, and lots of things, but it's one of the best college music towns in the country. But this woman in particular, she's like, what we're doing is, she's like, I had just been to New York for the first time in 1992. Okay, so I just got back from 1992. I'm working at Merry-Go-Round, and I was on Michael Alec's guest list, and I bought Weed from Angel.
Wait, hold on. That's a lot there. I gotta do my station identification. Wait, he had me at Michael Alec, and I have to do my station identification. You're watching If These Walls Could Talk with our guest, Bobby Blue. Okay, you had me at Michael Alec. Okay. Continue on. That's that whole thing that happened at Limelight.
Right. So I had my club kid like get up, and I was all like, you know, club kidded. So okay, so I'm working at Merry-Go-Round in Bloomington, Indiana, and I'm helping this lady, and she's doing a music video, and she's like, well, we've got a book that we're basing everything on, and it's like we're calling it Human Wheels, and it's different lifestyles, and every photo is different lifestyles.
Human Wheels, I love
this particular book. And I said, oh, well, that's very interesting. I said, would you mind if I came down and watched, because I would like to have experience in knowing what a music video looks like or how it's made. And she's like, sure. She goes, do you want to be in it? And I'm like, sure, I can be in it.
Bobby Blue's big break.
And then my boss says, Bobby, come here. And I'm like, she's like, that's Mrs. Mellencamp.
Get out. Wow.
And I'm like, oh, that's Elaine Irwin, the Victoria's Secret
model. And of
model.
course, I knew her. I knew who Elaine Irwin was. She's beautiful.
Gorgeous. I thought she was the one in the Too Funky video, which I never remember that lady's name. But
I don't remember that either, but I knew Elaine Irwin.
Like,
she had twins too. She went on to have twins, I think.
I don't know.
Irwin. Yeah,
but she's
beautiful.
Yeah, she actually is now selling vintage furniture, which is something that I have done for a long period.
And you never know where anyone is going to be. But I love that she was, first of all, nice to you, that she semi-discovered you. And because she seems very genuine. So
yeah.
John Mellencamp is nice.
A few months go by, and I thought it was just a fluke, that nothing was going to happen out of it. And then she ends up on my front porch, knocking on my door, and she's like, hey, like, I didn't have your phone number, so I just thought I'd stop by because you gave me your address. She's like, we're doing the video and blah 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 blah. She's like, can we use your apartment? And I'm like, yeah. So like, it was, and I didn't know all it was involved still. Jonathan Kaplan, who directed several big movies, which was like The Accused, I think we were because of Jodie Foster, which is not something that you want to see it again and again, but you know the movie.
No, it's an intense movie.
It's a horrible
movie.
It's a storytelling, but and all of the and then like this great singer songwriter Lisa Germano happened to be in the thing. She's one of my biggest like idols.
But wait, they wanted to use your apartment?
They used my apartment, and they wanted to use my club
from merry-go-round.
Well, they wanted to use my club kid persona that I presented them from my days here, my recent trip here to New York. And so I got myself in some fishnet stockings and some little black hot pants and a fishnet shirt.
You did it for
my face all crazy.
You served them, Bobby Blue.
And John Mellencamp was there in my house, and he was telling me, "Oh my God, I'm getting a hard on." And he's like, "Can you get up and dance a little around a little bit?" So he was very flirty and very cool. And so I'm in this music video called Human Wheels, and it was his first non-top 40 hit. But I was almost banned from MTV. Part of the video had to be banned because it was about a woman who was having multiple sex partners, and then mine was next on the chopping block. But I almost was banned, but they let it go.
But hold on, why were you banned?
Because I was all gay and sexy.
What year was this? 92.
92.
They were.
92,
it's like I've blocked all that banning. I've had to, but come to think of it, yeah, they were careful back then.
Well, that was even
nothing like
that was like Justify My Love had just been on TV, and they didn't show that. And
exactly.
Erotica had just been on TV, and they didn't show that. So I mean, and you kind of wanted that a little bit, though. Everybody was kind of pushing for that because they knew that was a very good money thing.
Right.
But anyway, I mean, it was a really fun thing to do, and I never really got in contact with him again. But they were very excited, and that was kind of like my first like big thing.
That was your. It's interesting that you had gone to New York for a bit and then came back, and then it happened to you, because that tells me, right, you picked up, like, obviously you came and settled in New York because you're supposed to be here. Anyone who ends up here and ends up doing it here, they're supposed to be here. So it's interesting that you brought that magic with you back to the boy in this merry-go-round store. and she like, you know what I'm saying, the series of events that happened that you were,
I met a lot of people at that store. You know who else walked in?
Merry-go-round. That's a ticket.
You know who else walked in, and I love her? It was Jerry Jewell from The Facts of Life.
Get out.
She was with cerebral palsy. She's a comedian with cerebral palsy. She came in one day because she was performing there at the university.
Right. The university.
And she took me out to McDonald's for lunch, and then she left, and then she brought me back a card, and I told her how much I wanted to be a star. She brought me back this necklace and a card, and the card said, "Just do it." It was like after that Nike.
I love
thing.
it.
And she was adorable and sweet. So that store brought, like, even Bloomington.
It was Indiana, it was like a magnet, the merry-go-round magnet.
It was.
It's interesting to me, though. I look at you and I hear this story, and you made that trip to New York. You were born in this small town in Indiana, and obviously it had to be challenging for you growing up, because on it, like, I had Joey Arias on here. I know Joey Arias came out of the womb exactly the way he is now. This is not personas people take on, it's who they are as people. You had to be like this early on in the game. What was it like for you going to school?
Well, I mean, it was probably, I mean, I don't know what, I mean, okay. So there are a lot of, I've learned so much in this when I'm talking about bullying. I've written a song, and after
thank you for doing that, by the way.
Yeah, I wrote a song called, and it's not, I've recorded it. It's just not out yet. I've got to find a good visual for it. And that's the main obstacle with that song. But the thing is that the more I had a very bad experience because I was Latin, because I was effeminate, and my mother was so outlandish and outspoken.
Like, were there any other? You're half Latin, well, and half dad was, as you said, a good old boy, country guy. So you did have a mixture. Were you think you were ostracized because of that, or there was a stigma with being part Latin? What do you think?
Oh, well, I think that there were people that said things that I didn't know when I was a little kid about my mother. I always thought that everybody thought it was always so that she was what do you call that? Unusual that a woman from Costa Rica is here and that she's got something. And I always thought that, like, it was exciting that she had something to offer. And she taught us orgullo, pride. Really, I love it.
What's it called?
Orgullo. It's
pride.
Like pride.
Yeah, right.
And so I didn't hear your mom should go back to her own damn country until I was like 13.
Oh, that's so.
But then my mother had 4 sisters there. So they all came. My tia, my aunt.
Yeah, your tia, right?
Yeah, she came to Seattle and she met a man in the Navy. and that man lived in Bedford, Indiana. And so she went with him and married him, and then brought 3 more of her sisters over
Amazing.
from Costa Rica in the 60s.
Wow.
We had
You had family, so you had family.
Oh,
it wasn't
yes,
like, yeah.
yes, we had family. It wasn't. The funny thing about it is when you are like, I think that in New York City, it's not a big thing to be Latin. Like people, you say,
Oh my! I grew up here. My
like,
friends, yeah,
But
right.
you say that somewhere else, like in a small town, it's kind of a big deal. But at the same time,
I've heard
you have people here, other people than just your family, to become friends with, or to
yeah,
socialize
because everybody
with,
is from everywhere here. I mean,
right? Well, I'm talking about Latin people with Latin people, or
But
you know, like you
all
have
over Latin
cultural
America,
thing.
Puerto Rico.
Right.
I mean, it just, my friends were all, that's what it was growing up.
Oh.
Irish, Italian, Puerto Rico, everybody was mixed.
Right.
So when I talk to someone like you, I'm like, that's hard. That's a hard way to grow
It's
up.
hard. Well, the one thing is that it's odd in little bits and pieces of Middle America. There's always people that are not from there. Well, we were only friends. My mother wasn't only friends with like other Latin people. Like we were friends with anybody who wasn't American. So we had Filipino friends, Argentinian friends, and like, you know, just a different mixture of people that came and go, you know, and go through my life during that time. But the one thing about bullying is that, yes, I had a very bad time because it didn't just come from students. It was the teachers also. And we, you know, and a lot of
you had a teacher that said something about you being gay.
Yeah, oh, I've had several teachers threaten me, throw me up against the wall, threaten me, humiliate me.
Was this Catholic school?
No.
This is public school.
This is public school.
Wow.
But one who humiliated, like loved to humiliate me and would say like incredibly crazy things just to humiliate. And that's what bullying is. People don't really want to hurt you. People want to humiliate you. But the thing is that I realized as I was, you know, as I've been kind of like thinking, people have always told me you should write a song about this experience. But I was just like, you know, I'm really kind of maybe cheapening my experience because today it's like, I'm sorry, but it seems like today it's a competition with who has the saddest story. And I don't want to be looked at.
No, I know, right.
I don't want to be looked at that way.
But
I want to be seen as a survivor. So that's why. So when the pandemic started, I started feeling like closed up again, like I did when I was in Bedford, Indiana. Like I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. I was a little kid and I couldn't go to even in Indianapolis. I couldn't, you know, it was like you were just stuck being bullied in this place. And you didn't tell your mom and dad because like you didn't want to admit to your father that you were being bullied because it's humiliating to do that. So I kept it a secret till I was 25, you know, that I was bullied. But as I told my story and as I kept going with my story and kept going with writing that song, I realized that a lot of people are bullied. And I'm not talking about just people who are gay or who are effeminate.
A lot of people are bullied.
We talking about people with that are short, that are really tall, that have a birthmark in the most unfortunate places, or that's just visible at all. Like, and there are people that are adults that are bullied at their job, and it's not even like
that is happening so much, right?
So like I could say, yes, I have this soul story of me being bullied, but it's really opened me up to showing me that everybody has this bully.
It's made you empathetic to other people being bullied.
Absolutely. Well, I've already been, I feel like, but it opened my eyes up and it made me realize that no, I don't want to be seen as the kid. I want to be seen as a survivor. The one
you're not the victim.
Yeah. But at the same time, it was just like that opening up really kind of, it kind of made me, I don't know how this feels. It made me feel a little better. That I wasn't, that I really am not the only one. It's just that our world revolves around this person so harshly that sometimes we have a hard time to look out.
Right.
You know, the only time we look out is when we're blaming things on people.
That's a good point. Right. When we're pointing our finger. By the way, have your water.
I am.
I'm here with Bobby Blue, and we will be right back. Okay, we had our water, and you wrote this song about bullying during the pandemic. You said, I can't think. So that's something, okay? The fact that, you know, you're isolated, all of us I felt like I was angry, stomped on it. And obviously I agreed there was a pandemic, but I did not agree. And now I disagree with some of the ways it was handled. It was handled incorrectly. My beef, before we get back to your muses, because I want to, if any of you turn on Netflix, you'll see tons of movies that were made during the pandemic when all the independent filmmakers were not able to make films, when most of my friends who are actors were not acting. Now, does anybody wonder how that happened? I wonder it all the time. It's almost everything that you see on Netflix date is made in 2020, 2021. Well, how did they do that? Well, Bobby Blue's talking about bullying. That is also a form of bullying. If you knew the loopholes and you had enough money around you, your life was not nearly as disrupted as mine was, or as yours was, writing your bullying experience into a song while you were sequestered in your apartment, because that's how it felt for a lot of us. And that's just something I want to point out, because as we move forward from all of this, we really need to consider as creatives what happened before, where we are now, and where we're going next. But I want to talk about you first coming, to New York. You came by way of Seattle.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Why was that? Because you had your aunts there?
No. I really can't tell you. When I came to New York in 1992, I came here as like that, as that I wanted to be the artist that took off to New York and everything.
Of
but
course.
It didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So I had to tuck my tail between my legs and go back home for a while to Indiana.
You hoped that Madonna was going to come save you.
That was a long time ago.
She ain't coming.
She ain't coming.
If Madonna calls, I'm not here.
And that's the one thing is that Madonna will teach you. You have to save yourself. You have to do it yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. That's a good lesson. I think that, and that's the thing is that we're all here by ourselves. Nobody's going to come and save us from nothing. Not your mom, not your dad, not there. It's you. It's you. Coming to New York, I had fallen in love with a boy my first time, come out of the closet, and he was going to go to school, to grad school in Arizona.
Okay.
So I followed him to Arizona where I did not want to go. And it was just like, I wasn't making, I don't know, like, who knows why, I think
your heart, you were following your heart.
But there's a, yes. So after we broke up and I was stuck and I'd already moved my life to Tucson, I'd gone to visit a friend in Seattle and I loved it so much. I love I love the indie aspect. I love how raw everything is and was. If you go to Seattle, Seattle and New York are very different, but the one thing that's very different is mainstream. You don't see or hear mainstream things in Seattle. It's all like underground. And if it is mainstream, people kind of scoff at it.
Right.
But you come to New York and mainstream is very, very people are talking about it. It's part of
it is, but we've got everything else here too. There's something for everybody here, which is great.
Absolutely. But you have that. So that was kind of very different. And I like the rawness of it. And so I made some music. And I made some lyrics and I had gotten a melody. And at the time I wasn't playing guitar.
You weren't even playing guitar.
No, I had guitar lessons when I was like 13 through like 16 years old. But at that time I wasn't confident. It was several years later. I wasn't confident
your
playing
prior experience was just, you sang in choir as a kid and all of that?
Yeah, sure. But I would actually write my own songs.
Okay.
I wouldn't sing their songs.
Right. But you would write your own songs and you started doing that as a very young kid.
Yeah.
That's a gift.
Yeah. So when I was in Seattle, it was just so indie and everything was just so, just ask and see if it happens, which is very similar to New York, that thing. Okay. But I'd found some electronic music with no vocals on it. So I had formed my songs and it was a band called Swayzak. Okay. They were very big in the area, the mid 90s, the rave era, very, very big. And they were in England. And so I formed my songs to their instrumentals and I sent it to them and they freaking fucking called me. And they were just like, we love what
oh my God,
done.
that's really great.
Yes. Well, being so far away in London, it never really came together for us to work together because it wasn't like we didn't have
But
the
it's
computer.
the fact that you did it.
But we did one thing and we did a white label little thing. So I felt like at that point I had done everything that I could in Seattle and it was time to go back to New York.
Right.
So 2001, just a few months before September, in 2001, I came back and I lived in Park Slope for a while and
you
settled myself.
Here like right before
and it was just right. Yes.
Right before 9/11.
Well, that was just crazy.
So we've got two pivotal moments here. We've got you hanging out with the Michael Ehrlich crew, right, as
in
a
the
club
90s.
kid in the 90s. And then I went through all of these decades. And then, of course, we have what happened here at 9/11.
Right.
Very interesting that those are the times that you were really drawn back. It must be the energy. Do you ever think about that?
I don't know. Just things happen. You know, the thing is when I'm learning more, I hear it all the time. You hear people say this all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just not really learning this thing is that things happen at the right time.
When they're
don't
supposed
realize
to.
Things happen when they're
Yeah,
supposed
but we
to
have to
happen.
be patient, and that's so
But
hard.
it takes so long for everything to happen.
It's
My
so freaking
God.
long. My
It takes
God.
everything so long
And
to
my
happen.
favorite saying is, "I'll be in a new age range by the time that happens." I always feel that
Oh
way.
yeah, you know,
I tell people the clock is
the
ticking.
clock is ticking.
There's a clock. It's ticking,
Now,
right?
that would have been scary back in the 2000s because you had all this American Idol bullshit, and you had
You
to
did,
have,
right.
You had to be like 24 or under. But nowadays, it's anybody and
Which is
anything.
beautiful.
You just have to keep going. And you
Right.
saw Kate Bush reach #1
Yeah,
after
yeah,
36 years,
Right.
which showed me that all of my old songs from my past 3 albums, they're not dead. They're just I've just stopped managing them.
Right.
And
I love the way you put that. You have
Yeah.
as a
those
musician,
songs
you have
are
to
still
yeah.
up
Yeah,
for
they're
like
still
anything
hot.
can happen. I just had one of the songs from my first record. So we'll jump to my first record here. in
Yeah,
New
right.
York,
Yeah,
okay?
because I want to show
So,
your
okay,
first record. Yeah.
Right. My first record is called Sunshine, and it was a folktronic album, which is what I called folk. I had like acoustic guitars and
Folktronic
some
is
and
what- okay.
electronic.
So
elements.
it's a blend
So,
of folk and
you know,
electronic a little bit.
Very much.
Am I- okay, cool.
And I mean, yes. So I had made a song, and this is how actually I met Chauncey Dandridge.
Chauncey Dandridge, for
Yes.
those of you who don't know, but a lot of you who
So,
watch the show do,
I-
he's our producer, and he is
And
also he's
and a
up for the
good
Best
friend.
Video Award at the Glam Awards
Just
this
good
year.
friends, yes.
Disco Brothers.
The DJ.
And he's an incredible DJ,
Vote for
producer.
Chauncey.
Vote for Chauncey, and he writes poetry, and he's just amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd written a song called "In a Song," and
In a
and it's very much kind of like a rock song, but it has a little electronic elements with it. And I was just like, well, what would Madonna do if she wanted to make a hit song? She would have remixes made.
Right.
So I got a few people to, when you have to ask people to do things for free, you have to accept that it is free. So
So you have to deal with the fact that you're
gotta-
not paying anybody.
Yes, and you're not going to get the top tier like job. But I got together with. I was lucky enough to get together with this
Good people.
one DJ, and he said, I like it, I'll do something with it. And he really like made it like didn't use the vocals as much as I would like, but I started to I put it up online. It was Friendster at the time, and MySpace
and Friendster. I remember that.
Yes.
Oh, God.
And I had
MySpace.
gotten contacted by a man named Michael Hades, and he was going to open a record label. He was starting a record label.
Hades,
Mhm.
as in hell.
As in the god of something, right?
Right.
But he's a DJ. He's
Hades.
a DJ.
I love
he was,
the name.
Very associated with the House of Aviance.
Oh, of course.
Right.
All right. So we all know
And
that.
so this was his first single out, and he was going to make it a hit. And he got a few more DJs to make more mixes of it. And we got a few more DJs. We got it together. We were almost about to press it until this one DJ came along, Tim Leterre, who was just like, it made it also, and it was the song. It blew my original away. It was the single.
Wow.
It was this was going to be the single. So we made a music video, and it shot up to number 13 on the dance chart, which was played firstly by Junior Vasquez.
Oh my God.
And-
That's huge.
Yeah.
You must have
So-
been
It
over
was
the
huge.
moon.
It was huge. So I had at that point with that song, with that album, I had 5 songs come out to be world-renowned like dance hits. In a Song was the only one to hit the top 40, but then that's another story all on its own. Do you know that you can pay?
Yeah.
That you can pay
yeah.
to. It's like there was an actress that I forget who said this, but you pay for your Golden Globe, but the Grammy, the Oscars are a popularity contest.
Right.
So I don't
right.
remember who said that.
I love
But
it.
that
It's a great. It's
that
a
is
yeah.
the dance chart.
They call it pay to play.
Well, the dance chart Billboard you pay for.
Wow.
You can pay because we had, when you get an agent, get an agent, and you have this agent send around your song, and you have to pay this agent to send around, and then the agent might actually pay one of the DJs a little bit more to play your song.
And that's how your song gets played.
But
right.
luckily, I think that with Junior Vasquez, he just really liked it, so he started for whatever he went with the. I
Right.
guess he went with.
And
the,
we
but
love
that's
Junior
how
Vasquez.
you get on the dance chart. You pay it's actually not. It's hard, but what I have to say is I think that I handled it very badly. I had
love
a
you.
very,
I thought you were
very,
gonna- I think I handled it very well.
I had a very good
badly.
opportunity to build on what I had. But I was playing guitar, and by that time, it's like Prince. Prince always says, when I was making Purple Rain, I was already working on around the world in a day. So like that's how I felt. Like I was working on In a Song and the dance mixes and all of that, but it was already on this next album, which was a lot more darker and folky, and like Loretta Lynn and Pink Floyd got together and made an album.
Okay, I love that.
So that didn't transfer very well with going from this music, from dance music to that music. But also I played the artiste, and I wanted things the way I wanted done. And honestly, I screwed myself. I feel like
you kicked yourself. You kicked yourself in the butt.
I really,
you live and you
really
learn.
needed a little bit of guidance with that, and I didn't know that I needed guidance with that. So, but I do think that the second time is coming, and I'm going to handle it. And this time, I know.
Because you're older and wiser.
Oh my
Hopefully, we
God.
all
But
learn
you know
from
what?
our
Like
mistakes.
I said, well, yeah, because that's why things don't
Right.
happen when
we're
you want them to happen.
stupid.
Well, no, things don't happen when you want them to happen because you're not ready. And I
Right.
wasn't ready.
Right. But
And
you're ready
that-
now.
oh
You're
my
hot.
God, I have
Bobby
been
Blue
on
is on fire.
I've been on stages.
Yeah.
I during the pandemic, I was playing outside. I bought myself an amp, and I went
yeah,
around
loved
to the
it.
places where the restaurants were setting
Yeah,
outside. And I would set
brilliant.
up and play out there.
And they were so happy to have it, by the way.
Yeah, and that all of that, it trains you. You have to sing by yourself. You have to get there by yourself. And now when I step on stage, if I'm having a bad day, whatever, all of a sudden I step on stage, Bobby Blue comes out. And it is a professional. It's like a professional way. It's the trueness of it all. It sticks with it. It sticks with you. So now
you know what, Bobby Blue, you had to evolve
ready.
to it. So I want to take a look at the wonderful video you sent. Can you, Chauncey, let it roll.
My friend Melody plays with violin here.
Okay, Melody plays violin in it.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Don't tell me to stop. Tell the rain not to drop. Tell the
Beautiful.
wind not to blow. 'Cause you said so. Tell the sun not to shine, not to get up this time. Oh, let it fall by the way, but don't leave me where I lay. Tell me love isn't true, it's just something we do. Tell me everything I'm not, but don't tell me to. Tell the bed not to lay like a mouth of a grave, not to stare up at me like a captain when it's on its feet. Tell the leaves not to turn, but don't tell me I learned. No. Take the black off the cross, but don't tell me that I have to go. Tell me love isn't true, it's just something we do. Tell me everything don't tell me to Melody.
Okay, there we go. Another amazing video destroyed by StreamYard. However, you got the gist. Incredible, the layers. And you have a very complicated mind in the music that you write.
Oh, well, actually, this is a Madonna cover.
Right, but it's the way it's the
a different arrangement.
It's the styling and it's the arrangement.
Well, when you do a song, I mean, I've been doing this song. This is one of my favorite Madonna songs.
Right.
I absolutely love this song. I've always loved it. I love her version a lot.
I love your version a lot.
Thank you. But I've been playing it for as long as the songs have been out. So when you play a song, it forms, it molds and morphs into other things, and you start, and then you get bored with the song, and then you have to start doing different things with their voice. And so this is the cultivation of many years of playing this song, and and it just kind of ended up here because you have to eventually make it your own.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And that is kind of like, it's got to. All I have is a guitar. I don't know how to play piano. I'm a strummer. I'm what they call a cowboy guitarist. I can only
tell me what that is. I don't even.
It's just
know.
Somebody who can basically like just lightly accompany themselves.
2 chords.
Like enough.
Is it like chords?
Yeah, it's just chords and there's no fingering.
Right. Are you self-taught?
I had lessons from 13 to 16, but when I picked it back up, I had to completely remember it myself. And so I had to do it all by myself, which is, great. And my fingers don't make all the chords. I don't know why. Sometimes I think maybe people have longer fingers than others.
No, but, you know what? You're right about that. I took guitar lessons and I suffered from not being able to get, I'm like, yeah.
No, it's just like,
Let me see your hands. Oh yeah. Well, let's hold our hands up.
My small Latin hands.
He's small. He's got teeny tiny Latin hands.
But giant testicles, absolutely huge.
But he can't use them to play the guitar. So, but they're good for other things.
Don't know
so
they look good settling in underneath when you've got the right pair of jeans on.
There you go. There you go.
Anyhow. So that song is very important to me. I almost feel like it is my legend song, even though I am not the original writer of it, but it just speaks to who I am very much. The music video, if you go over to, you'll see that what we did was we edited down a movie that was in the public domain.
I did see that. How did you go about it? That was an old-fashioned movie.
It's called Hell's Hinges from 1916. So it's a silent
Hell's Hinges. Yes. I like that.
And it's about one thing, but we took it and we edited it down to make it something else. So our story that we got out of it was a rootin' tootin' bad cowboy who meets someone who shows him that he has goodness inside.
Right, there's goodness inside this bad boy. And we love those stories.
And the whole thing is it's just about him realizing it, and the moment he realizes it in the video is the most heart-wrenching. I mean, there's not a lot of editing here. There's not a lot of fast, today's style movies or anything. It's about this way that they would make silent films back then.
It looked exactly like the way they
just a single moment and a long shot, and you could see his eyes go from like this to like, oh my God. And it's just like this stare, and it will make you tremble.
Penetrating. I did watch
So go to the video and watch it. It's incredible to watch that scene.
This is on your YouTube channel, right? It's Bobby Blue Music,
Don't tell me on Bobby Blue Music.
Don't tell me on Bobby Blue Music.
So the rest of the video, he's basically burning down his life, which is the town burning down. And he starts to nurture the light that he has found inside of him. And he leaves that old life behind. But the fact is that it like with Madonna's with the idea of these lyrics, it was written by Joe Henry. Joe Henry is Madonna is a 3-time Grammy Award winning Americana music star. So all country folk music. He is Madonna's brother-in-law because he's married to Madonna's sister Melissa. Let's just
keep it in the family.
And,
see, I
already love John. I always loved Joe Henry even before I even knew that. I had no idea. And so they've written several pieces together, and it's always like her best stuff.
Wow.
Because he's such a good songwriter. He's such an amazing songwriter. I mean, it's all of his albums aren't actually listenable, but there's it's like a Bjork album. Like you know how amazing that she like invented her own instrumentation, but the albums aren't always actually something that you want to hear every day.
But I love that you brought up Bjork, because you're definitely out of the box with your music. I mean,
she is a huge,
but she's amazing. And she had me in the swan outfit on television. I got to tell you, I made that outfit for Halloween. It's sitting in the closet.
Oh, that's
when
hilarious.
she came out with that was the Grammys. She wore that, the swan.
But I love
she's so talented.
That is a redo of an old, I don't know who the actress is, but she did it back in the 1930s. And she
the swan thing, I love it.
Dress
with the
is from
swan around your
the
neck.
1930s. It's another actress wore it like back then to the Oscars, and I have no idea who that was. You could probably look it up. But Bjork is big to me, big because she's always taught me that is that you have to make it your own. You have to be inventive with things, and it's and to turn something upside down, to turn it on its ear. And I've always been interested in remixes, but I'm not exactly a dance fan. So but I like a remix, like the way like Beck or Bjork would do a remix. It would just like do it like, let's do it with country country
you like things infused with other things. It's interesting. Invention, because you said like as a kid, when you colored, you didn't have the right color for the trees, and your mother said to you, well, the trees can be any color you want them to be.
Yeah.
That seems to go right into your music.
That is my life's philosophy.
Well, I can't believe, I don't know where the time went. We are finishing with the first part of our show. Don't go away. Okay, because we've got more after this. This is our initial broadcast, and we'll be right back with Bobby Blue. Okay, so we have so many comments, and I'm so thrilled at all these people that tuned in. Do you know how to work the comments on this thing?
I think you just scroll down.
Do I use that button? Okay, everyone knows I'm not technical. Okay. Oh, it's the tracking pad. Okay, I have no confession. I'm terrible with the tracking pad. I like a mouse. Okay, so I said it. Okay, I want to see.
It's all about the way you use your fingers, Wendy.
It's all about how you use your fingers. Prince Fleet Easton, thank you for tuning in. Wendy Stuart TV, that's me. Victor Santiago, hi folks, a friend of yours, I guess, huh? All right.
Kobe is up there. Also.
Kobe is up there. Where he's Nick Lyon is there. Love his vocals. See, Nick Lyon is a music producer.
Hi, Nick Lyon.
And I love that Nick said that. Can you make that scroll for me? Thank you.
Yes.
This is why I have people come on, so they can scroll the thing for me.
Yeah.
And you look like a good scroller. I know we have a couple more down there. Do you know how to scroll?
No, that's it.
That's it.
That's
I saw other ones on there.
Now
they're up above. Okay. Teresa Sabin, wait. Okay, thank you.
Teresa.
Teresa Sabin, adorable. Knew she would love you. Jimmy Starr said that you're a great guest. Jimmy's got a wonderful podcast with Ron Russell, the Jimmy Starr Show. Thank you for taking the time to tune in today.
Jimmy.
Scooter Pride. See, I told you there were all these other people on there. It's the tracking pad, ladies and gentlemen. It hides things. Okay, I want to talk about just your voice in general, because I don't know a lot of your musical terms. So you call yourself a countertenor. What is that?
Patsy Cline is another big person in my life. She is a contralto.
I've heard that expression.
She sings low for a woman.
Okay.
I sing high for a man. I don't actually know the notes and the in-betweens and so forth. But
so are you like a high tenor? Would they call it a high tenor?
High tenor, countertenor, high tenor. Yes. So it's and I have 4 octaves.
How many does Mariah Carey have?
I think she's actually, you know what? I looked this up the other day.
I'm trying to show how much I know about music.
And I always was like, I have 4 octaves.
I got 4
you know what?
also.
Like Mariah Carey's got like 7. I think Christina Aguilera has 8.
Oh my God.
So that's what you're dealing with.
So that is like their range of how high and
Kelly
how low
Clarkson
they can go.
Also, yes,
really? Wow.
Big.
I'm happy I don't sing. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
People expect that out of you, that like, you can be all over and you got to be perfect hitting every single octave.
Well, I mean, there's a lot in New York City. Well, okay, there's a lot of things that I have to say about my voice if you want to know.
Let's talk.
Let's talk about the voice. Yeah. So my voice has been my greatest asset, but also my biggest challenge, because I sound like a woman and people don't hear me and then they see me. Like back in the 90s, the early 2000s, you know that wasn't easy for a gay man to get, like, it wasn't like Lil Nas
Right.
X. And I can't say how proud I am of Lil
Of course,
Nas X.
of Lil
Okay,
Nas,
I
right,
love
yeah.
him, and I'm very proud of what he does, and I always listen to that kind of music. But like,
But you're right,
I'm
it
very
wasn't
proud of
easy
him.
to have that quality
No,
in
and
your voice.
he's more like, everybody's been looking for the next Madonna, and like he's more closer to that than anybody, any of those women. He's
Right.
more closer to that than anything, because he really has no problem saying something
Right.
and being a badass about it, and just like walking away.
Yeah, he
Just
does
like,
his thing.
That's just what it is,
Absolutely.
you know. So I do appreciate him very, very, very much. But it still isn't. In a way, it's still my biggest challenge. Even though things about gay entertainers have been relaxed, and we are allowed to be gay now, and it's almost like an attribute, you still, I feel like you have to look like what you sound, or you have to sound like what you
But
look
that's
like.
how they label.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
that's how
so
they
it's been
label
very
people,
difficult.
right?
Like when people see you and they say,
Right.
"Oh, you got this fantastic voice, blah blah blah." I'd love, you know, but you are a guy, and you are like, I don't know. Personally, I guess I don't know about all the you know, I've never really felt like a man personally.
Whoa,
my
these
dad,
confessions
my
come
dad
out of
would
this
always say like things
show.
like, you know, you should do things like a man. Every time somebody said
Right.
you should act like a man, I squirmed, because I never really
Yeah,
felt
right. You
like
put on
that.
another outfit is what you did.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, Mom, what should
This
I wear
is
now?
me manning
This is-
up, but
so-
things are so much more fluid now.
It is, but you still have, I still have the challenge of, I have a high voice, and I don't
Right.
look like like what I sound like. If people would always
See,
tell me I
that's
should,
not it,
I should
right.
get into drag, and there's nothing. I love drag. I
Right.
love watching drag, but I don't. It's just not my art.
Well, that doesn't speak to
It
you.
doesn't speak
It
to me.
has to
I'm a
speak to
visual
you.
artist, absolutely, but it's but so that's been difficult it all the way up through here, because I have slayed audiences in New York for
love
lots
it.
and lots and lots and lots of people, but to get those people to actually follow you, or to like get them to into
Oh,
it's so
so-
hard to get.
it
It's
is.
really hard to get yourself onto people's
Radar.
their playlist,
To get on their
so they're
playlist,
every
get on- yeah,
day, you know,
right.
you can put a song out. But then like these days, everybody's like putting out like 5 songs at once. And I understand that that's the industry standard for like people like, you know, Beyonce or whoever, who's going to put out 5 videos and 5 songs all at once. But as an indie person, I'm just not there.
Right.
Because it takes a long time for somebody to hear. I've had this song, Don't Tell Me, out since the end of July. Most of the indie musicians I know
Right.
have put out something at the same time. They've already moved on to the next song. But I just feel like, no, like,
But
it's not
you
you
being
haven't
played
even, you
enough.
haven't even heard it until like
Right.
a few
So
days
how
ago.
can-
So I'm like Kate Bush,
Right.
can have the number 1 hit 36 years later.
But-
it takes a long time
Right,
for a
it
song to
does.
get to the general public.
Right.
And
I
then
so
you
agree
can
with
get
you.
your general public, but then you've got to get to where it's playing in their head, and you know, and then you've got to get on the playlist.
But don't
And,
you think it
know,
was
so
a lot
like,
easier? Let's go back to the early 90s. You know, Junior Vasquez plays you on the
that's
dance floor.
2000s.
Right.
That's
Okay. But
2000, like 8, 9.
okay. But again and again, you get play. Now with Spotify, I have so many talented friends, and so do you. And, you know, they get it up and running. It's on Spotify.
Mm.
And then like, couple of months later, there's another one on Spotify. You never got to really savor the first one. It's almost, it's like fast fashion.
It's too
It's
fast.
like H&M. It's like Zara. It is. It's too fast.
H&M.
It's like H&M for music.
Let's
Is
see,
it?
what is this? I
Wait.
forget what this. Oh, I think they're both H&M, but my pants and everything is like 500 and down. Everything below me is everything. No, I'm
It's
teasing.
expensive.
It's that I got at like used in a thrift store because
love it, but
because my
they're-
mama taught me how to thrift.
well, they're very
Yes.
sassy. And
Thank you.
got the figure for them.
Oh,
But
good
it is.
gosh.
It's like fast music. It's wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Well,
and then
but then there's a lot of things that play into this. Like what we're looking for is like one thing that I've learned recently, and oh my gosh, like there are people that just know things when they're 20, and then you learn things when you're. I've been 26 for years.
oh, join the
I don't know how
club.
long you've been 26.
I don't want to
for.
grow up.
I've been
forever.
26 for years.
Yeah,
And in
I
my
get
many,
it.
many years of being 26, the one thing that I always thought was ever since I was a little kid, I always thought that I was going to be discovered, that somebody was going to come along and go, oh my God, you have this amazing voice. You've got this sparkling
Right.
personality. I'm going to make you a star.
Right.
Well, it's not the 1940s, you know?
No,
That-
I hear you.
And the one thing is that will not happen to you. You will not be discovered. You have to
I can
do the
vouch for
work
that.
yourself,
You do.
and there's no shortcut. But the one thing is, the shortcut is that you always get. Now, I've always been kind of like, why am I not famous yet? What's happened here? I ruined my chance with like that dance.
Oh no, that is such bad thinking. I'm not going to let you get away with it.
No, let me answer that for you, and I'll answer that for myself.
Right.
But the thing is that what you get in this, what you focus on in this world, you get.
Right.
You don't realize it.
Manifest
you get it. So you know
yourself.
what what I focused on? I focused on getting shows.
Right.
I focused on the folk scene.
Right.
I focused on being a singer. Well, you know what? I am in the folk scene. Everybody knows who I am. A lot of people know who I am as a singer in New York. I wanted to release songs. Well, you know what? I've released songs.
Right. You've done absolutely everything you set out to do.
Then you think, but then I think, why am I not there? Well, I'm not seeing myself there on the big stage. I'm looking at the next video that I'm going to make, or the next song I'm going to, and how many likes and all of that stuff. It doesn't matter. What people need to do is you get what you focus
Life
on.
coach.
Okay? You get what you focus on, right?
Right.
Okay. The one thing that I've always heard about Madonna, about Lady Gaga,
Absolutely.
and I also know Laverne Cox.
You do?
Yes. Well, yes, we went to in Bloomington.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun.
So she went to college
She's
in Bloomington,
great.
and we became best friends. And here in New York, we're also. And so
she was totally focused from the get-go.
right. But Laverne also released songs, did things, and when you would go to her shows, there would be people there, not a lot. So I don't want to take anything away from Laverne. She's worked really hard. But the one thing that I realized about all three of those people is that they didn't focus on singles, and they didn't focus on shows here in New York. They got their chops.
Right.
That you have to get your chops. You have to go out there.
But they focused on the big
and you have
picture.
to put your feelings on the line. But the big picture is making big swings.
Yeah.
Madonna didn't worry about that she didn't have it on. She made a big swing. She went to, I don't know, she went to Seymour Stein or Camille, whatever the lady was that helped her before. But what Laverne did, what I remember what Laverne did.
Yeah, I love these stories.
About, right? So Laverne was, and I don't know how much I should and shouldn't say, but I'll say
whatever makes you comfortable. And a little dishy.
Laverne was going on, she was, the View was having extreme makeovers, and they were taking on, and they were auditioning people to pay for a complete makeover. So Laverne she had already been I Want to Work for P. Diddy, which was a reality show.
Yeah.
So she went and stood in this line for this extreme makeover, so while she's standing in line, she didn't make the View. Joy Behar was standing in the line and interviewing people in the line. So Laverne she went to Laverne. Laverne's the tallest person there.
Right.
Laverne goes in. So she says, what are you here for? And Laverne's like, I want to have my change. I want to do. I'm in transition.
Right.
And I want to complete my transition.
Right.
And I'm saying that with as much respect as possible.
And this can help me. It can absolutely help.
Well, but that also, I mean, she's an actress.
Yeah,
so,
she's a great actress.
The one thing that happened was she didn't win. She didn't get, but Joy Behar saw her while she was there, and she was swinging big.
Right.
So you can't.
I love this swinging big.
You gotta
It's
swing big.
Swing big.
That has to be your focus.
Right.
Your focus has to be swing big. Not how many people like your Instagram. Not how many people playing your song.
That's exactly right.
Because the fact is that most people, and I will say this, how did Taylor Swift end up with all 10 songs being the top 10 songs? She paid for it.
Right.
And everybody, they go out and they pay for plays, and then that adds up. And when you pay for plays on Spotify, it actually it sends your music out to people who would suggest it to. If you don't get those plays, most people don't. I think they said something like 75% of people on Spotify have less than 50 listeners a month.
Wow.
And those people are not making the money.
Spotify's making money.
They're not
Spotify's making money.
Not sending their songs to anybody else. You have to focus on what you want. You want to be on stage with you got to focus with being on a big stage. You got to be, and what I was always heard is my feelings getting hurt, not being wanted and as rejected as how many times I have been, because I have a high voice, because I look because I have a mustache.
But it's who you are. Hello.
Rejected several times.
It's who you are.
But that's what they always say. Oh, he's not all American enough looking. He's and that's been a very big thing.
But listen, I learned this today from Jason from the Golden Gaze. I got to share this with you. He's very successful with that group, the Golden Gaze. And one of the things he said, He only focuses on the yeses. And I've really made that a part of my mantra.
Wow, that's very powerful.
This is powerful for you. That's
Mm.
why I'm sharing it.
Yeah.
It's powerful for anyone who's listening. You focus on the yeses. You are not all American. I am not typical. And you know what? That is just fine. We have what we can bring to the party. And I only want at my party the people that are going to get behind me.
Yeah.
Okay. And be the wind beneath my wings, as you do.
Yes. I wish that I had learned how to swing big before, but I wasn't ready. And
Right.
now I'm ready to swing big. I
Right.
don't know what I'm going to do.
Bobby
but
Blue
it's
is
gonna
ready
be
to
something out there.
swing big,
Yeah,
right?
I have a huge penis. So
Right.
is it not?
I'm sorry Tim Moss isn't here to comment.
Well, I
on
hope
that.
that I can say penis and balls and everything. On
No,
this,
you can say
the
whatever
Chauncey's not gonna-
you want. No, we don't bleep things
So,
out on
but
this show.
Now is not a great time vocally. I discovered last week that I have vocal nodules, and even though I have not spoken this much since like last Thursday,
Right.
or
I
last
felt
Friday,
the nodules
last
growing while we were doing the show.
Right.
Okay,
It's-
because
I'm raspy.
we are talking.
I'm
We are
raspy.
you are talking. So
But it is something that has never happened to me, and I am devastated because I always knew that if I lost all my money, if I didn't have a way to make
Right.
money, I could
You
always
could
just go to the subway and sing.
Okay.
And that was great. But now I don't have that, so I'm a little bit devastated, a little bit scared, but I am interested in taking like that 6-month vocal rest and doing other things and because I've been playing at the Anyway Cafe for the past year twice a month. That's been my residency.
Right.
And I was really looking forward to this Christmas season because I have some great
I'm
Christmas
sure.
songs.
And
I have
I'm
some
sure
fucking
the
great
audience
Christmas
is
songs.
looking forward to it.
But
let me ask
I
you,
did Friday.
You did do one, but you can't sing it all now.
No.
What do they put your voice on like bed rest for 6 months? Is that
well, that's one way to do it, or you
Okay.
could have the surgery. I'm a little bit afraid to have the surgery.
No, I wouldn't.
Just because
I don't know enough about
you may
it.
not get it back. You may not get it back. Bjork said that it was the best thing she ever did. Back in the 70s, Julie Andrews lost her voice.
I remember. Was that nodules?
Yes, because she had the surgery done. But that's also 1970. This
Right.
is 2022 where things have advanced. So Bjork says she has it, but I've also read that there's areas of your voice that you may not get back. So just let it heal on its own. And taking 6 months to do that, great.
Don't you think this is a call from the universe that you're not supposed to be?
It's a call from my body that's
from your
rejecting,
body,
whether
right.
it's psychological
It's
or
time-
metaphysical. It's something saying, I don't like what you're doing.
Right.
Stop this.
You
And
need
you know
to
what? To be
stop.
honest with you, I have to say, and I appreciate the Anyway Cafe, and I love you, Natasha, and I love you, Charlie, and I love you guys, and you guys know all the guys here at PANGEA, and I know that you guys are very associated. But the thing is that after 3 hours, I can't really do 3 hours anymore. That's like being a human jukebox.
Right.
I can't do that anymore.
A human jukebox. I love
It really
it.
is. It really is. But things are getting stale. And just like you're at a job, let's say you're at a job for a long time, things get stale. And
I
I
agree.
love performing. Every time I perform, I give you my all. I cried during my performances. Last Friday when I couldn't finish the song, I actually broke down an ugly cry right there in the middle of the Anyway Cafe.
I'm glad that
And-
you did that
oh my
because
God,
that's
it
what
was
you were
so hard.
feeling
It was
in the
really
moment.
kind of embarrassing because it was just like all of
you
this.
don't-
I was singing Wildflowers by Dolly Parton, Emmylou Harris, and Linda Ronstadt. And it's like those lyrics are about everything. It's about dreams and about chasing your dreams. And
Right.
everybody in New York. That song is about
That's
everybody.
what- that's
Even though
why
the
we're
country
here.
song is
Yeah.
it's about everybody
It's
in New
about
York.
chasing
And
your
it
dreams.
really is. And it's like, and the lyrics, because it's Dolly and it's just so detailed and
Yeah.
descriptive. I just started crying because I'm like, I'm here to
Those-
sing and now
they
I can't.
right, but those lyrics spoke to you.
So-
But okay, you can't sing, but look at all the other things you can do.
I
You can
can
write.
do.
This
I'm
is
going for it.
this
But
is a wake
things
up
have got-
call.
Something's got to change. Like
Right.
something right now for
Right.
me has got to change. I
Right.
can't keep doing the same thing that I've been doing
I
for
hear
20 years
ya.
since I've been here in New York.
Yeah.
I
The
love-
universe is funny, Bobby.
need-
It will kick you in the butt when
There's-
it's time to
there's-
make the change.
There is
So-
nothing greater to a performer when you can play in a place that has great sound.
Yes.
A great sound system is everything I want
But
in a
Right,
performance.
but it doesn't always happen.
No,
doesn't always
not in New
happen.
York.
Like a
No,
dream.
but that's how you learn. You learn how to sing without
So-
anything.
so-
Learn without anything.
So we're talking
So-
about singing. You're telling me you're going to give your voice a rest. What's the plan? I want the
The
plan.
plan is that let's okay, well, I plan on I don't exactly have the plan. All I know is that there has to be like I have to grow up or grow out, one or the other. Things are getting a little stale, and I'm a creature of not just morphing, but I'm a creature of mutation.
I love that.
And I say that because
I say morphing. He says mutation.
No, I say mutation,
love
and it's
it.
because I love sci-fi, but also because if you listen to my albums, every single one of them is different. And the one thing that I've always gotten, maybe, like from music producers, is that I am not consistent in my genre. And I fucking hate that.
I hate it too, because they're trying to put you in a square box.
And I want to sing everything.
And you love it.
I want to sing Julie Andrews, and I want to sing punk.
Go for it.
And I've done it. And so, like, my first album's a folktronic with a dance thing with a dance DJ thing at the end. My second album is a psychedelic folk country album. My third album is a covers album, tribute to a lot of Latin songs and Patsy Cline songs.
So you can do all of this. You have this range.
That's what's the biggest. Probably the biggest challenge of all of my music is that I always make a different genre, and people like you have to be consistent.
You don't. They
same thing always.
They pigeonhole people.
I mean, but you look at the pop stars. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, not at all. But I want you to tell people how they can find you.
Of course.
Not just here at PANGEA, although he is here at PANGEA, where we have amazing performers. You should look at the calendar.
Well, why was I here? Is Kobe Cole?
Kobe Cole does the 27th is
one of the greatest singers of our time.
He is one of the greatest singers of our time.
Absolutely.
And I don't even refer to Kobe Cole as a voice. I say he has an instrument, because it is unreal the sound that comes out of him is just unreal. He does Nouveau Riche here at PANGEA. The 27th of December is going to be our next one. I hope I see you there. And you can always reach out to me if you think you got what it takes. I'll put you in touch with Kobe. But how do people find out more about you?
My name is Bobby Blue. You can find me at Bobby Blue Music on Instagram, TikTok, or the Facebook.
Great. The Facebook. As opposed to Facebook.
And then, of course, BobbyBlueMusic.net.
Right.
BobbyBlueMusic.net. And that will, if you go to the Instagram, it'll take you to everything.
Okay. So just find Bobby Blue.
Bobby Blue Music. Bobby Blue Music
on Instagram.
And also check out, please, my new song, which is Don't Tell Me, and the video is there. If I don't know how much time we have left, so I'm just
we're at the end of our rope, honey.
Okay,
yeah, but you can say as much as you want.
I have made a beautiful playlist, I think, of queer folk musicians, and they're more eclectic musicians, so it's not going to be your regular folk sound. I've got Spanish speaking or Spanish languages on there, as well as just like the people that I found in the indie industry.
Where do they listen to this playlist?
I put it on YouTube, I've put it on Amazon, and I put it on Spotify, and it's called Queer Folk. So sometimes when you look up something on Instagram, or I'm sorry, Spotify, it doesn't come up.
No, it doesn't come up. So what is the best way? That's why I'm pushing this. How do they? So if they put Queer Folk, Bobby Blue Music, should they put all that in?
No, if you go,
I put everything.
Yeah,
in.
if you go to if you go to heylink.me/Bobby Blue.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, isn't it? It's so much. So BobbyBlue.net, go to BobbyBlueMusic.net or BobbyBlue.net, and it will take you everywhere.
Right.
Instagram
they can access this playlist. I love that you put together a queer playlist. We're just finding out about this at the end of the show. I think that's great.
Amethyst Kaya, and you've got Farrell Foster, and you've got oh my God, the Amethyst Kaya song is so incredible.
Okay. Well,
but also Melissa Carper. Check out Melissa Carper. Lord,
it's like a walking commercial for everybody, including yourself,
including myself.
I love you to death. How cute is he?
Thank you, Wendy, for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. The night I came and saw you at Kobe Cole's show, I knew I wanted you to be on this one. I loved your music.
I appreciate
and
that.
I think you're one of a kind.
Thank you.
There
so
you go.
much.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Have a lovely, lovely few weeks, and a happy New Year to everyone.
Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate or whatever you don't celebrate.
It's Happy New Year.
It's a lot of pressure for people this time of year, and some of you may not be feeling so festive. We get that too. You know what? Go out, enjoy the day, and be grateful.
See a live show.
And see a live show. Okay, music is everywhere. Thank you, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye.